Recent cases of ransomware exposing just how frail critical supply chains are here in the United States. Now the Justice Department issuing new guidance to combat the growing risk of cybercrime. Eamon Javers is at the DOJ with the person leading that charge. It's a CNBC exclusive. Eamon?
Scott, that's right. I'm here at the Department of Justice with Lisa Monaco. She's the Deputy Attorney General. And thank you so much for having us here, first of all. And secondly, what can you tell us about what the changes are here at the Department of Justice in terms of the way you're going to handle these ransomware cases going forward? So many cases in the headlines just over the past 2 weeks or so.
Well, great to be with you, Eamon. Look, what we are doing here at the Department of Justice is reflective of the threat that ransomware poses to national security and to economic security. What we've done in just a short time that I've been back at the department is directed a 120-day review of everything the department is doing to combat cyber issues, including ransomware. We've established a ransomware and digital extortion task force to bring all of our tools to bear and ensure that we are going after these attack networks. And yesterday, just yesterday, I issued a directive to every federal prosecutor in the country that we need to treat ransomware attacks with the severity and the urgency that it merits. That means centralizing reporting back here to the Department of Justice from around the country, so we have a national and indeed a global picture of the threat of ransomware attacks, including the illicit use of online infrastructure and networks that fuel these attacks.
This morning in the Wall Street Journal, we saw the FBI Director Chris Wray comparing this ransomware crisis that we're in right now to 9/11. Do you agree with that comparison? How does it shake out for you?
I absolutely agree that we need to treat ransomware and cyber attacks like the national security threat that they are. That's why we're taking the steps that we are across the department, and indeed across the government. We need to have a national picture, and we need to bring all of our tools to bear. Here at the Department of Justice, our job, of course, is to enforce the law and to protect Americans against threats from all types. And today, that means the exponential rise in ransomware attacks. And that means telling corporate America and those who had organizations of all stripes what they can do and what they should be doing to address this threat.
What does the U.S. government know about who's doing this, right? I mean, there are bad guys on the other end of the keyboard. They might be in Russia, a former Soviet state. The most recent group we heard of was called REvil. Does U.S. law enforcement, U.S. intelligence know who these guys are and where they live?
Well, we know that, indeed, the attacks, the most recent attacks, including against JBS Foods and against the Colonial Pipeline, are linked to criminal actors, criminal groups that are known to law enforcement, that have ties to Russia. And these are attackers who have struck before. And frankly, it is reflective of a threat that is ongoing today, Eamon. And indeed, as we speak, companies are under attack from ransomware attacks, from malicious cyber attackers, whether they're criminals, whether they're nation states, or whether they are what we call a blended threat of the two.
The big question in all this is you've got these criminal gangs, some of them operating in Moscow. I mean, we've seen pictures of some of them doing donuts in their Lamborghinis and sort of spending all this money that they're making. How much control do you think Vladimir Putin has over these criminal gangs? Is this a direct control thing where he's ordering these attacks? Or is this sort of a hands-off approach by the Russian leadership saying, hey, you guys go cause mayhem and we're not going to mess with you?
Well, what we know, Eamon, is that these attackers and the criminal groups that fuel many of these attacks, including some of the recent ransomware attacks that we've seen, come from groups that have links to Russia. And what we know more broadly is we cannot give any quarter, and no country should be harboring criminal actors of any type.
But
and
that's
our message.
It's those links to Russia, right? How strong are those links? Are these people who are answering to the command and control of Vladimir Putin, or are these people who are out there in the Wild West doing what they do, and Putin is just allowing it to happen?
Well, I'm not going to get ahead of the investigation. Obviously, these things are ongoing. These are both the most recent ransomware attacks are the subject of ongoing investigations. The message, I think, needs to be that no country should be harboring malicious actors of any type. And importantly, the message needs to be to the viewers here, to the CEOs around the country, that you've got to be on notice of the exponential increase of these attacks. And if you are not taking steps today, right now, to understand how you can make your company more resilient, what is your plan? If your head of security came into you today and said, we've been hit, boss, what is your plan? Do you know, and does your head of security know the name and number of the FBI leader in your area who deals with ransomware attacks. These are steps you've got to be taking right now, today, to make yourselves more resilient.
But these are national strategic resources, right? It's fuel, it's food, it's the things we need to run our society. Right now, it's a ransomware attack where if you pay, allegedly, you get the cryptocurrency, you get the crypto key back, and you can reopen your systems. What if there's an attack where it's not ransomware, and they simply shut these things down as a hostile nation state? Is the United States prepared for that?
Well, and we've seen attacks of that type, nation-state-driven attacks. This is exactly why we need a whole-of-government, and we are putting forth a whole-of-government approach to this. The threat to critical infrastructure, the threat to companies across all sectors is very real. But the most important thing we can be doing is not allowing ourselves to be victimized in the first place. The biggest difference, Eamon, between a company and a CEO who heads a company that will be paying out millions of dollars in damages and taking a hit to their brand is whether or not they're investing today in making their company more resilient. That means investing in backups that are not connected to the internet, so you can come back up online quickly and not be beholden to the criminal actors on the other side of the keyboard.
Speaking of coming back up, JBS this week, the meat producer, they got up and running pretty quickly after their cyber attack was announced on Sunday and back to full production later in the week. Did they pay a ransom?
I don't know the answer to that.
Do you think that the government should know whether these companies are paying ransoms or not?
Yes, I think we need to know. I think the investigators that they should be working with, this is why we really want companies to come forward to cooperate with the FBI on this, because the preferred method these days from the bad actors here is, as we know, to be paid, for instance, in cryptocurrency, in digital currency. Well, you're familiar with the phrase, follow the money. That's true in old-time crimes, and it's true today. That means investigators, the FBI, has got to be able to follow that money. We've got to be able to work up the chain to go after these networks, to disrupt the entire network, and keep other companies and other institutions from being victimized.
Cryptocurrency is a huge topic here because this just couldn't happen without the cryptocurrency fueling it, right? So what new regulations do you want to see on cryptocurrency, and are you happy with the cooperation you've gotten or not from the cryptocurrency exchanges so far?
Well, look, I think the use of cryptocurrency can have, many good applications, of course, but we have to be mindful of the misuse, the abuse of criminal actors in this space. That's why we really need both the exchanges and companies who are going to be working with them to cooperate with the FBI to enable us to follow that money, to be able to trace the use by bad actors of digital currency, because, as I said, it's the preferred method these days, and it's a critical feature of our investigations.
Now, we don't always see corporate America, large companies disclosing when they've been hacked. They don't necessarily disclose it to the SEC. They don't necessarily disclose it to the public. Does that need to change? Does corporate America need to come clean on how often they're being hacked and how damaging that is?
Well, you're seeing an increase in requirements on particularly public companies to disclose this type of information, because it is critical. It's both critical for the investing public, it's critical for boards of directors to understand what's going on in these companies, to address effective management, and it's critical to the public to understand just what steps companies are taking to make themselves more resilient and to keep them from being victimized in the first place.